This is the highest plane of reality. Or, maybe it looks like this. Both are illustrations of infinite dimensions. But could we go further? In fiction, we know of characters who can go beyond infinite dimensions. These are outerversal characters, and I'm going to attempt to give somewhat of an explanation of how to scale and compare them. How do we go past infinite dimensions? Or better question, how do we go past infinity? If you've seen Vsaw's video on counting past infinity, you might have some idea. However, to truly understand how to go past infinity, you need to follow these rules. 1. You need to define a new thing that follows a set of logic that can extend past infinity. 2. Your set of logic must refer to the lesser set, so that it can be built off in the first place, to go past infinity. These are known as inaccessible limits, and being able to define an inaccessible limit will surpass even infinity. Now there are several examples of something that can do this. In mathematics, the most well-known is ordinal arithmetic, where the order type on numbers allows you to have a number after infinity, being omega. For power scaling, the example I can explain for defining an inaccessible limit, beyond infinite dimensions, is that of Platonic concepts. Something I have talked about on occasion. Platonic concepts were theorized by Athenian philosopher Plato. They are explained in detail in his cave analogy. The shadow on the wall is reality as we know it. Reality is everything we perceive, which for fiction can be infinite dimensions. Therefore, this is where we can put infinite dimensions as the starting point. The prisoners are us, we are deceived by the limits of reality, that we don't see that which is beyond. The light exits, the shadow is the absence of light, and therefore does not exist when compared with the light. The diffused light is the small portion of a concept that we understand, as it leaves its mark as a shadow, which is all of reality. While the actual sunlight is the full concept, being emitted from the form. The Platonic concept is the light source. Also out in the light is our true selves exist as Platonic forms. Now to understand how Platonic concepts work, use this. The concept of beauty exists. Then its conceptuality enters our thoughts. We associate things with beauty, calling them beautiful. And the association continues. This also shows that the concept of beauty is greater than the embody of beauty. The embody would represent all things associated with beauty, but not the concept. If you remove the Platonic concept of beauty, all beauty is lost. But removing the embody of beauty means nothing to the concept, and in fact a brand new embody would image with time, in the perspective of the concept. This shows that the logic surrounding a Platonic concept does work around the original infinity limit. There are other ideas that can also be considered outerversal, as long as they can logically justify going beyond the previous infinity. Side note, fiction does sometimes ignore the logic for the sake of the story. This is fine. Now that this is established, let's look at how we can use this for power scaling. Now I will not be describing it with traditional tiering, like a versus battle wiki. I'm doing it a different way. I was inspired by this video that described it comparing infinities. Which, while I do like mathematics, comparing infinities isn't very interesting to me. Hopefully, this will help to understand, for people new to the subject. Here is another analogy. We already know of tiers like normal human level, universal, infinite dimensional. The difference between each one of these is inaccessible limits. We introduce higher dimensions, to go past the infinite size that is the universe, which then leads us to having a new inaccessible limit being infinite dimensional. Now to get to Outerversal, we use the idea of Platonic concepts. So here is a function that takes an input and makes it Platonic. Whatever goes in the function will become Outerversal. This can be done by the axiom schema of replacement, where we can associate such ideologies used previously, keeping their order in the process. This means we can tier each part of Outerversal in a more understandable manner. Now from the Platonic human to Platonic infinite dimensional, is the lower side of Outerversal. With the lesser inaccessible levels included, the next would be these. These are higher as we input Outerversal into the Outerversal function. Again, done using the axiom of replacement, keeping their order. Try to understand that integrating the function multiple times is greater than having a higher input within the function. The new inaccessible level, which is top tier of Outerversal, is the idea of using the function inside itself an infinite amount of times. This is why verses like Cthulhu mythos are so strong, with Outerversal gods that stack endlessly high. I know this video doesn't completely follow the traditional ideology of how verses debating taught with Outerversal. This video was more to give an idea of how Outerversal comes about, and how it can be applied to characters. If your thoughts are different, no worries, I probably missed something out, or the analogy doesn't fit as well as I hoped. However, here is a thought. Can we go higher? Is this the limit? Comment down below. Thank you for watching. How strong is Dark Schinder? How strong is SCP-1730? What happened to Site-13? How strong is SCP-2935? Oh death. All ideas for future videos in the description, so we all know what to see. Check out these videos on comparison that go beyond infinity.